Stop it. Get some help.
What's going on? Today, out in the garage, working on McNasty, the 2020 RZR Pro XP. First off, thank you to RPM for setting me up with this silicone J-tube. This bad boy right here. So that's the final piece I need for operation Let Her Breathe on the intake side. Down the line, we'll address exhaust. For the sake of filming, I did remove a bunch of the heat shields so I can better show you guys what's going on in there. You can probably reach, but you're gonna have to, you know, get your hands up in there to get the hose clamp off and to get the tube off. Tools needed for this project. The factory hose clamps are 11 millimeter, so you'll need some sort of socket or wrench. Obviously, if you take the heat shields off, you can just, you know, get at her. And then for the sensor, T25. So to get the factory J-tube out, you've got this hose clamp there, which is an 11 mil, and then this hose clamp there, which is also an 11 mil. That's a billet plug that came with the blow-off valve, and you can see the hose here connects to the factory J-tube. So I'm not even gonna take this clamp off because this hose is just eliminated now. So you just gotta remove this little clamp here, remove that hose, and then remove this sensor here with that T25, and then this whole J-tube can come out. All right, it's that easy to take apart. Obviously, it's a lot easier with the heat shields off, like I was saying, so I'll throw you on time lapse and I'll get that old one off.
Try this, try that, tried everything. Coming right back. Won't you wait for me? I need you to stay right there.
Camera overheated again sometime during that time lapse. Don't know when, but I got it off. Got the turbo plugged to keep debris out. Got the airbox plugged to keep debris out. And now we can take a look, do a little comparison of these two tubes.
That's good.
They advertise it as this tube getting 30% more air volume than this one. And on top of that, this one is crinkled. And your air right here, going through here, these will create turbulence. Not something you want. RPM, full silicone, won't warp and crack like your factory J-tube here. That is hard plastic. All right, cleaned, ready to install. Since I'm gonna vent to atmosphere, got the plug pushed in, clamp tightened down. If you are planning to recirculate, this would be the point where you would take this plug out, take the provided nipple, put this in, clamp that down, and then you would need this hose off your factory J-tube. You'd have to get this clamp off, and then this is normally, if you recirculate, this is the end that goes to the blow-off valve. If you order one of these from RPM or any of the tubes, they have very detailed instructions. It's all easy stuff. I was just trying to give you a visual, but they have little pictures in their instructions too. Make sure you put the clamps on the tube, because sometimes these tubes are a little difficult to work on there, and it would suck to get it on there and then realize you forgot to put the clamps on.
Try Tried this, tried that, tried everything. Coming right back, right back. Won't you wait for me? I need you to stay right there. I'm coming right away, my dear.
We got the J-tube slid over the air box and slid over the turbo inlet with the clamps on. We don't have the clamps tightened down yet because I want to show you a couple things we got to do with that. Have them face the same direction as the OEM ones, like this. One little tool note on this though, the new ones require a 10mm socket. When you put the clamp on, you want to make sure the clamp is on the inside of that bead, but also not too close to the turbo housing to where it's hitting on that. So you want a little gap. This hose here on that nipple was already installed from RPM, and all you got to do is throw their provided hose clamp on it, slide the hose over, tighten that down, and that's all set. I'm gonna go do those three things now. I'm not gonna bother trying to time lapse it or let it record. The camera is just gonna overheat.
A lot of boring math later.
We have both of the clamps on the J-tube tight, and I can't stress it enough to make sure you got those tight. Same thing with your charge tube. You want all those clamps tight. You don't want them to blow off. You don't want a boost leak. None of that. So you want to make sure they're properly installed and tightened. So all we have left now is to put the map sensor back in. So let's go to the cab. All right, last thing, map sensor. Got her cleaned up a little. Got some O-ring grease on the O-ring. Slide her back in. And then RPM provides you with new hardware. We're gonna need a different tool for this than the factory one. Gonna need an 8mm socket as opposed to the T25 Torx. But that in, tighten her down. That's it. Everything's tightened down. Map sensor's in, tightened. We're all good to go now. I don't have everything back together. I still got to put all the heat shields back on and do an oil change. So it's gonna be a minute before it's all put back together. Just like that, we're done. It's not rocket surgery. It's super easy. Hardest part was the hot, sticky day trying to get that silicone over the turbo. Remember to go check out RPM's website. They got a lot of cool shit on there. You don't have to do it like I did, one tube at a time. If you're someone like Dude that hasn't replaced any, you can get a package deal where you get all three tubes, blow off valve, boom, you're set, you're done. It's peace of mind. You know your hard plastic factory intake tubing isn't gonna crack, warp, or leak. If you have a 20 Pro XP and you're running that factory intake tube, I've showed you guys on previous videos. Another Polaris problem we had to fix was the intake tube. As you can see here, it comes pre-molded flat and it's very flimsy, so this will collapse.
Yeah, dude.
So Polaris knew it was a problem. That's why they have a different tube on the 21. So if you got a 20, you gotta at least get that tube to start with, or get all three in the blow-off valve. Once again, thank you so much for watching. If you like what we're doing, make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, comment, and if you really like us, tell a friend, a grandparent, the milkman, the gas station clerk down the road. If you're filling up your car, tell the old lady filling up next to you. Tell everybody. We're just trying to grow. And that's it. Peace.